What's going on, guys? SHOT Show 2025 here at the Q booth with none other than Jay himself, probably the coolest guy that works at Q.
Probably the coolest guy here.
I'm not going to argue that. So, Jay, just talk to me about a couple new things Q's got going on this year. And
Yeah.
Monadnock Firearms is the go-to place for anything cool you see online. Anything from high-end CZs, Colts, Desert Eagles, HK, Q. It doesn't matter. If it's online and it's cool, they probably got it. And if you use coupon code SteveMP5, that gets you an extra 5% off your whole order over $100. Check them out, Monadnock Firearms.
Yeah, so recently released the Boombox, which is our gas gun 8.6, or 8.6 gas gun. Modular platform, you get your 308s, your 6.5s, all that barrel swap. We have some new cans. We released the Southpaw already, which is the 5.56 can. These are kind of next in line. So these are our steel 30 cal cans.
Okay.
So similar construction to the pork chop and short chop that we had before with the 8.6. It's stainless steel. It's that tubeless circumferential welding.
Okay.
So you have the Speakeasy and the Blind Tiger. Just Q names.
Yeah.
So obviously overall length on the Speakeasy, which is the bigger of the two, is 8.5 inches.
Okay.
And that's including the mount.
Yeah.
7 inches on the Blind Tiger. So a little bit different, but it's still fairly simple baffle design, but there's been some iterations. So insanely quiet. We're able to get because of the volume, we're able to get the steel really thin. Still durable, but it creates more volume internally, makes it quieter, and it keeps it lightweight. So the larger of the two is 16.5 ounces, as compared to the full Nelson, which is a titanium can that we used to have. That one was 17 ounces plus, so it's actually lighter than the titanium.
Right.
And then this is 12.8 ounces. I can't remember what the half Nelson was, but I believe it was a little bit more. So we have all steel construction, and it's still lighter than the titanium. Those are super cool.
So I'll say while you're transitioning.
Yeah. And you can feel them too.
Yeah,
Make
sure.
sure.
So I own the Southpaw.
Yep.
So, and I like the can.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried it on a couple different things. I run a 11-inch 416.
Yeah.
Putting it on there, I mean, it's not. I mean, it performed. It was
Right.
fine. I like the can.
Yep.
So and that was my first ever Q can.
Cool.
And I was like, man, hype beast, the hype is real. I dug it. I mean, people say whatever they're gonna say, but I like the can. I thought it was a pretty cool can.
No, absolutely. And one of the things, I mean, recently in the news, the talk is like, oh, well, look, we couldn't have the simple baffle design. It's like, hey, go watch the video that I did when we dropped it, and I said multiple times, it's a simple baffle design, like for the Southpaw.
Yeah, right.
The whole thing for us is like, we recognize that our product isn't for everybody, and that's okay. And that's something that we've kind of come to terms with recently. It's like, if you're just a casual shooter, which is it's allowed, you're allowed to be a casual shooter. If you just want to go shoot a couple hundred rounds or 2,000 rounds a year, and you want it to be quiet, you want it to be able to handle that, there are great deals in the market. The company that allegedly came for us, Otter Creek, I got no beef with them. They make a can that, for that price point, it does great. Like, it's a great buy. Ours, you're paying for, like Southpaw specifically, you're paying for that performance that you're talking about. It's gonna last longer. It is quiet.
Bro.
Oh my God. Very good. No, so there's different price points for different performances, and that's kind of what we focus on. Another one that's new, so we have the Boombox already. This is the 8-inch Boombox pistol, so this will be the next variant that comes out. People wanted 8-inch, they kept asking 8-inch. So we'll do the pistol first, that way everyone can get it, no matter, if you don't want to.
At range day, it was the first time I got behind the 8.6 that you had out there at range day. Loved it.
It's insane.
First time I ever shot an 8.6. First time to this point, I don't own any Q rifles.
Okay.
But shooting this, I was like, man, I need one. I need one. It's awesome.
People think it's going to be just like an ass beater, and it's not. It's like shooting 300 blackout.
It was very soft.
Super quiet. This can is a prototype, so it's our lefty can.
Okay.
Initially, we're not big flow through guys. We don't really care about flow through. We had a customer on the mill side ask for a flow through design. So we did it in 5.56. We'll end up doing it in 30 cal as well as 8.6. So this is the 8.6 version.
Okay, cool. So there's no release pending on this at all?
Correct, yeah. So these are, I mean, we're displaying them, but I mean, that's all steel.
Yeah.
Flow through, it's small.
Yeah.
It's a 3D printed core. Companies that are 3D printing tubes are kind of dumb.
Okay.
Tubing's been perfected. So
Sure.
you 3D print the core, you put the tube on there, and then weld it all together, end cap, the mount, all that. We have I'll show you the folder after
Okay.
Of the flash test that we did on the 5.56 version of this. And I mean, it's going to blow you away compared to, like, we have photos of all the flash tests.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other cans that you know of that are flow through,
yeah,
you'll laugh for sure. But that's super new. So the 5.56 version will likely be the first variant.
Okay.
And they look the same. But again, 3D printed stainless. And then obviously you have your tubes. And
Yeah.
again, like all of our cans, the mount is on, or the serial number's on the mount. So if anything were to happen to it, you send it to us, we'll cut it,
Right.
put a new stack on or a new core in, re-weld it, and send it right back to you.
I'll tell you something else, because the South Pole was my first into Q suppressors. The Cherry Bomb mount, man, what I love about that, and I didn't know it, is how lightweight it is.
Yeah.
For people who don't know and have not had experience with Q cans, like, it was like 1.8 ounces or something.
Yeah.
I threw on my scale.
It's lighter than an A2
Yeah,
flash
and I
hydrant.
was like, that's so light. And the South Pole was already pretty light. So I was like,
Right.
the whole system together
Yeah.
was very light. And I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of times they're like 3.5, 4 ounces for
And that's something people don't think of when they go, I'm going to buy this can. It weighs whatever, 20 ounces or 17 ounces. Like, that's pretty light. But then you said you got a quarter-pound
Yeah, I
muzzle
know.
device. And the cool thing with these, too, like, especially with our cans, a lot of companies and the guys are shooting flash hiders or muzzle brakes or whatever inside the can. If you're shooting a flash hider, specifically inside of a can, it's directing those gases in the exact same spot all the time.
Yeah,
It's harsher on your erosion.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this is an XL Cherry Bomb because 8.6, but it's the same design. These act as a sacrificial blast baffle. So there's it takes longer to erode that can. Also, we have that taper mount, so helps with alignment, keeps everything concentric.
Yeah.
And then it requires 20% more torque to remove it than to put it on. So you can hand tighten it and not worry about it wobbling or walking off. You see a lot of guys right now, or a lot of companies are like, don't worry, it's a left-hand thread. That doesn't, I don't know why that matters. Like, everyone's like, left hand's better. People talk about the rotation of the bullet and the gases coming out right in. It will
tighten
right.
it,
That's not what makes cans walk off. It's vibration. So having these taper locks helps with that vibration. It also, that taper seals off your threads. You'll see a lot of muzzle devices right now have that taper before the threads.
Yeah.
Kevin will straight up be like, man, they copied us. Whatever. If they did, they did. If they didn't, whatever. Cool. Machinists have been we didn't design tapers. Like, machinists have been doing that for decades. So, but it's a super, like you said, it's lightweight. You don't have to time it. It's efficient.
Yeah.
Keeps everything concentric. Keeps everything on there. It's just a cool way of doing
And
it.
I'll say this. So I watch them on YouTube, their YouTube channel, and all this information that he's talking about now is stuff that they talk about in like their podcast and all that stuff. So it's good information. That's something I didn't know when I watched it. Like, using a 3-prong inside a can, you can see where it's eroding away over time.
In that same spot.
In that same spot. So it's a lot of good information. So I would say, like, if you're one of those people, they're like, I don't believe the hype of Q, or I don't like Q, or whatever, for whatever reason, I would say, like, to my knowledge and everything that I've seen, they're not lying about the information that's out there. So like, I think it's all good stuff, and I've had a good experience so far.
Yeah, and we're happy about that, and that's big for us. So we appreciate it for sure, and we just like doing things like, we just want to do the right thing and what we think is cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Listen,
absolutely.
Jay, thanks, man. I
Absolutely.
appreciate all the information, showing me some
course.
stuff.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for more SHOT Show 2025.